and welcome back everyone to the video series dedicated show on MTV that likes to shop at Ross Dress for Less. That's right, we're talking about The Challenge Season 39, Battle for a New Champion, Episode 8. And wow, was this an episode? But we're going to start off where last episode left off, and that was Devin winning against Callum in the elimination, taking 10 grand out of the prize fund, and coming back to the challenge house. Emmanuel has a big old smile on his face and ready to get revenge on the 3 people that nominated him to possibly go into last week's elimination, which is Horacio, Big T, and Kyland. Somebody that does not have a big smile on their face after coming back home from the elimination is Michelle. Callum is gone. That was her security blanket. But coming back into the house, we have a team meeting of Asaf, Jay, Michelle, Olivia, and Emmanuel. And they're like, we need you to get focused into this game. We're coming down to some crucial moments here. We are smack dab in the middle of the chaos portion, and we're gonna need all hands on deck. And they even throw out some names to target. We have Asaf and Olivia throwing out Melissa's name. Jay is throwing out Zara's name. Emmanuel wants to say Big T's name because she was part of the trio that threw him in. And then we also have Michelle saying, hey, let's not forget about Ravyn as well. A lot of possible targets for not only this week, but for the future of the game. We also see a conversation between Colleen and Kyland, where Colleen talks about her infatuation and affection towards bad boys, which I'm sure will come up very, very soon. Spoiler alert, it does. Just not this episode, but we're gonna put a pin in that because the next day we see Big T have a conversation and a phone call with Kyle. And Kyle is shocked to hear how Big T is the #1 target in the house. She is being thrown into every single elimination that she can be nominated for. To me, it was really nice to see Big T and Kyle have a conversation on the season about the season, as well as just seeing Kyle in general have a cameo on the season. However, it did send red alarms in my brain because normally when you see somebody get a phone call from home, they either win the daily challenge or they're going into the elimination, or at least nominated to go into elimination. And knowing the track record between Big T and Melissa, it was more likely going to be that they're nominated to go into the elimination or go into the elimination. Speaking of Melissa, we see her have a conversation with Coriel, and Coriel is trying to do damage control after what he pulled at the previous episode's nomination ceremony, where he told everybody that he was lying and manipulating and using Melissa and Big T the entire time. So he's trying to do damage control to help out his game. Come on, it was never going to work. Let's be real about this. That's when everybody dons their challenge gear, heads down to meet up with TJ for this week's daily challenge called Tower of Power, the second Tower Daily Challenge of the season. This daily challenge will be run in 2 giant teams. There's 2 parts to this challenge, where in the first 30 minutes, each team has a fortress, and you're gonna try to fortify the fortress using all the debris that's in this field. Then after the 30 minutes, the teams are going to swap and they're going to try to infiltrate the other fortress. The first team to get inside the other team's tower, get everybody up to the top, and raise the flag will win into power, win into safety. This is exactly the take shelter elimination that happened in Total Madness between CT and Jay, just on a bigger scale and a daily challenge instead of elimination. Because of that, Jay and his team, made up of Berna, Coriel, Emmanuel, James, Mariah, Nerys, Ravyn, and Zara, have an inherent advantage. Jay is going to take the leadership role. Having done something so similar in a past challenge and found success with it, why would they listen to anybody else? So Jay has a plan. Jay is the leader. Whereas on the blue team, made up of Asaf, Big T, Colleen, Ed, Horacio, Kyland, Melissa, Michelle, and Olivia, Kyland talks about just playing not so fast on the Challenge USA Season 1 and says that he's thought about it for hours, thought of the best strategy for it. So then everybody's like, okay, well, we'll just go with him since he's put a lot more thought in it. This is different than Not So Fast, and we see that clearly in Kyland's leadership and how he prepared for this challenge. Jay tells his whole team to go for the chains. Go for the metal chains, go for the smaller chains, because you're able to tangle them up kind of like a necklace. When TJ blows that horn, everybody runs to the barrel that holds all the metal chains. And we even get this like giant tug of war between the two teams. Both teams are holding on for dear life, but after a certain amount of time had elapsed, that's when Kyland says, this is futile. We just need to start putting stuff in front of the door and start working on our fortress. So he tells everybody, just start moving on to grabbing other stuff. Don't even worry about these chains anymore. And that's what happens. Blue team starts grabbing a whole bunch of cinder blocks. Kyland grabs the giant rope. He's working on the one knot the entire time, while everybody else is just grabbing a whole bunch of cinder blocks and random big stuff to put in front of the door. There really is no direction. Jay had the vision. Jay had the strategy. They got all the chains, and that was what made the difference. He was able to tie it up. Then they started putting all the big stuff in front of both doors. Once they swapped, it was clear that the orange team was going to absolutely decimate the blue team. One major thing that happened, though, was when they were undoing the chain in the first door, and they were pulling it so fast that when it slipped through a hole and became free, it shot up and hit Kyland up in his head close to his eyeball. But Kyland tried to stay in the game, tried to be there for his team, but it was done and over with. And the orange team won. I also have a theory that not all of the blue team was working at 100%. That because they had Big T and Melissa on their team, that maybe, we didn't see any confessionals, but maybe they were kind of just like, hey, if we kind of lose, it's fine. It was just a guy's day, and most likely it's going to be a women's day this week. And if we lose, we kind of got our two scapegoats right here, Big T and Melissa. But the blue team does lose. Orange team are declared the winner. They get in their huddle, and to nobody's surprise, they decide that they're going to nominate Melissa to go into the elimination. And honestly, there was a few people that were trying to stick up for both Big T and Melissa, but they were outvoted. And so Melissa is nominated yet again to possibly go into the elimination. Again, she is fuming. And coming back to the challenge house, Melissa wants answers. Who said my name first? Who threw my name out there in the deliberation? So she comes up to Mariah and wants all the answers. She wants a transcript. She wants receipts. She wants names. And Mariah is trying to save her tail and says, I can't give you that. I plead the fifth. Big T makes a point to Mariah that kind of clicks on a light bulb, being like, oh yeah, why aren't we thinking of putting players like Colleen into the elimination? Because Melissa and Big T are surprised Colleen's name did not come up once. And Mariah's like, wait, what am I doing? Am I just following my alliance because they're my alliance? And I'm not thinking for myself of like what's best for my game? I'm voting in two players that would never say my name just because somebody in my alliance told me that it's better to say their name than somebody who does not necessarily have my back. This is where we see Mariah bringing it up to like Zara and Michelle and Olivia. And this is a point where Olivia is now questioning, where is Mariah's head? She wants to send in somebody from the Challenge 38 Alliance and wants to save Melissa and Big T. And that's what Olivia's thinking. What is Mariah thinking about wanting to look out for her own game rather than the ginormous alliance that is made up of over half the house? It's ridiculous how this is just now becoming a thing. That just now players are thinking, wait a minute, this is a game that I want to try to win. Why aren't I trying to play for myself? We also hear, before we go to the bar scene, Asaf tell Jay, Berna, and Ed that Kyland needs to be next. That Kyland needs to be in line to go into the elimination and nominated next. I don't know, it just seems like maybe Kyland has drifted too far to the Melissa and Big T side, as well as Asaf seems really annoyed with Kyland lately. But anyways, we go to the bar scene where Emmanuel tries to send an olive branch to Kyland. It almost feels like he's toying with Kyland, being like, I know you need friends, I know you need an alliance, and I feel like he's just setting him up to knock him down if, say, there's an opportunity to say his name. I feel like Emmanuel would say his name, Kyland's name. But anyways, Ravyn and Colleen talk about Mariah, question her loyalties. Colleen is getting wind that Mariah is saying her name around the house. And so now they're starting to get some cracks in between the Challenge 38 Alliance. Speaking of Mariah, Melissa is now going around the bar wanting answers. Mariah didn't give her any answers. So now she's like, okay, I'm gonna get Berna to talk to me. Who said my name? She also says that she heard around the house, that Berna took the lead in throwing out Melissa's name first. A little white lie to see if Berna would bite, but Berna doesn't just give out the information. She calls for Mariah as backup, saying, I didn't say your name. I wasn't the first one to say your name. And so Mariah comes over, pleads the fifth yet again, and then Melissa moves on as Mariah's trying to tell Berna how this game works. She's not your friend. She lied to you to get information from you. Why can't you get this? Melissa jumps over to Ravyn. Melissa tries the same strategy by saying, who said my name? I heard that you were the person that threw out my name first. And Ravyn says, I'm sorry that this is all happening. It was either you or Big T. So I'm sorry it was you, but everybody wanted to say your name. Things get very, very heated to the point where they throw drinks on each other and start yelling across the bar and getting in each other's faces. Melissa starts to cry, and a lot of the people and a lot of Ravyn's quote-unquote alliance is consoling Melissa while Ravyn is getting dry by the bar by herself, essentially. But hey, Melissa is trying anything and everything, the target on somebody else besides Big T. If she can get somebody else nominated that isn't Big T next to her, then possibly there is a chance that Melissa and Big T can make it past this week. But before going into the nomination, we see a fun little moment where Big T is trying to bribe Ed for his vote to not say Big T's name, but Colleen's name. And after getting to talk with Big T in an exit interview that's on patreon.com/angelcakevids, Big T said that she went around the house to everybody trying to bribe them of their votes. Let's be real, the writing is on the wall. Melissa was already nominated, and so it's inevitable that Big T was going to be the house vote to send her alongside Melissa in the elimination. So we get this fun little moment where Big T's like, politics don't matter at this point. I'm gonna go to my last ditch effort and try to bribe people to get their votes. And this was a really, really funny moment. A moment that I'm gonna miss after this week's episode because nobody else is doing anything like this, like what Big T is bringing to this cast, but I know I'm getting ahead of myself. But we do go to the nomination ceremony. Melissa and Ravyn argue a little bit more. Kyland calls out the majority, especially the orange team, that they're going along with the herd mentality, as well as basically calling them playing a scared game by voting with the majority. I don't know what Kyland was really trying to get accomplished here, because it kind of just rubs people the wrong way, and then he votes with the majority and voting in Big T. So it's just a weird situation that Kyland is calling people out for their herd mentality, just going with the majority, and then voting with the majority. So it's just like a 1-2 factor of just rubbing people the wrong way. But it's unanimous. Big T is nominated to go into the elimination. Speaking of this week's elimination, we get to the arena where Big T and Melissa join TJ on the arena floor. And TJ calls in this week's champion, Kaycee Clark, winner of the Challenge 37. She was also featured on the World Championship, the Challenge 38, and she's made it to quite a few finals. So Kaycee is coming into this week's elimination looking to win yet another physical elimination and hoping to get $10K from the prize fund from the contenders. Big T and Melissa are ecstatic to see Kaycee coming into the arena, and they're praying that she picks the chaos option, because most likely if Kaycee picks the chaos option, she's most likely not going to choose to go up against Big T or Melissa, whom she's known since her challenge debut on Total Madness. Kaycee has played alongside Melissa and Big T for quite a while now and knows them very well. But unfortunately for all three of Kaycee, Big T, and Melissa, Kaycee pulls out the poll and it says Big T's name. And not only that, but TJ says that Big T and Kaycee will be playing in this week's elimination called Pole in the Storm, which is just a pole wrestle. I guess maybe because it was raining, did they do it on the spot? Did TJ just make it up in the arena right then and there? I don't know why, but it's just a pole wrestle. There's no variance. It's a pole in a circle, rip it away from your opponent, you get a point. It's pole wrestle. Don't change the name, just call it a pole wrestle. Let's just say it's not looking good for Big T, but Big T did say that she did get some help from Kaycee on how to do the pole wrestle. So you never know what could happen, but in round one, Kaycee was able to get the win. Then in round two, Big T was able to get the win from Kaycee. The edit was a little wonky with how many cuts and edits and everything, but Big T was able to get the second round. So it's 1v1 going into the third round. But this is when Kaycee said that she was not playing whatsoever, and round 3 was quite quick. I feel like in real time, it took like 10 to 15 seconds for Kaycee to win round 3. But in the end, Kaycee was able to win pole wrestle 2 rounds to 1. Kaycee wins, getting 10K, leaving the contenders with a prize fund of $376,000. They've lost $30,000 so far off of these eliminations. It's not looking good for the prize fund. It was a very emotional ending for Big T. Looking back over this season, I feel like Big T was the narrator of this season. She was the driving force. Every time I think of like tentpole or memorable moments from this season, almost all of them are Big T related. So losing Big T this early in the game, I just wonder who is going to be the narrator? Who is going to be the driving force of this season moving forward? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see how that's all going to play out. But that is it for this week's episode of The Challenge Season 39. What did you think about this episode? Let me know down in the comments section below. What did you think about the daily challenge? What did you think about the elimination? What did you think about seeing Kaycee coming into the elimination and winning against Big T? Are you sad to see Big T eliminated from the game? Let me know anything and everything down in the comment section below. I want to give a special shout out thank you to everyone who supports me over at patreon.com/angelcakevids. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you. And thank you to everyone who's watching this video up to this point. I'll be back really soon with more Challenge 39 content, more challenge content, more content in general. But until then, peace.